Hey, what's up, everyone? Kevin Oak here. Back in New York, back to training as regular, feeling good, a little out of shape, a little out of breath from the higher reps, but it's all good. Getting into some deadlifts. This was actually on Friday, so just to kind of explain what's going on, I'm making some changes in my training. Right now, what I'm doing just for my deadlifts, for the main lifts on deadlifts, I'm running a modified Sheiko program where I'm deadlifting twice a week. This was Friday, so it would be the second day. What I'm doing is I'm doing deadlift to knees one day with a normal grip, so I can work on my sumo grip. Because the reason I couldn't switch to sumo my last training cycle is because my left arm was too bent. I couldn't grip the bar properly without it spinning out of me. So I switched my grip the other way. Now I have my right hand under, my left hand over. I just want to work on that a lot, so I'm dedicating one day a week after squats specifically to work on my grip, doing exercises like either deadlift to knee like these, or doing like some type of pause deadlift, or something where I'm going a little lighter and I can just work on the grip so that by the time it gets to competition in April, my grip's not an issue in sumo and I can pull normal. The other deadlift day that I'm doing is I'm pulling stiff bar off of blocks. The reason I'm doing it off of blocks is just because the length of my levers just allows me to pull probably the most efficiently off of about a 2 or 3 inch block. Whenever I get a little lower than that, it's really hard to keep my back straight. So instead of doing a ton of volume, where I'm constantly worried about the risk of not pulling efficiently, I'd rather just pull for 2 inches or for 2 inch blocks, where it's about the same and it will still carry over, but I'm pulling in a much more efficient way for my body. Therefore, it has much more carryover, a lot less risk of injury, and I can just pull better with volume. So those are the 2 days I'm doing. I already did two. It's going okay so far. The weight's obviously very low. With Sheiko, the tendency is for it to be a lot of volume with medium weight, not necessarily low weight, but medium weight. The reason I'm doing Sheiko, or modified Sheiko, I should say, it's just so I can regulate the volume better. My tendency, for whatever reason, especially after a month or two, is to kind of push the weight on the bar up just a little too much. And right now, all I'm really trying to do is just push my sumo in terms of technique and just get as good as I can with my form. So I'm not really worried about weight. It's not something that's really, something I'm going to worry about until maybe mid-March, beginning of February, since I'm not competing until April 15th. So really all I want to do is get in as much volume as I can, as many clean reps as I can, just pulling with the technique the correct way. So those are the 2 days I'm doing. On the sumo block day, that's a dedicated deadlift day. So I'm doing deadlifts and then just deadlift accessory work for the most part. On the other day, with the sumo deadlift to block, to knees, I'm doing those after squats. So right now, what I'm doing for squats, I'm doing SSBs and I'm doing speed squats. So it's usually something like 5 to 7 sets of 3 with a medium weight. The reason I do this, I kind of use it as a bridge between cycles. So since I just competed and I kind of need something to just to start kind of resetting my squat and to feel good where you're not like beating yourself up too much and beating your CNS up, what I do is I do SSB squats for medium weight and do them with low rest. And I just do a bunch of sets of triples where I'm not actually like maxing out on reps or pushing it that far, at least not for a couple of weeks. Usually I'll do that for like 4 to 5 weeks at a time before going back to squats. So I'll probably do these for 5 weeks and I'll switch back sometime in the beginning of January just to probably low bar. I do want to start low bar a little further out from this meet. I want to start wearing knee wraps a little further out, just because I wore knee wraps at Boss of Bosses and I just wasn't comfortable in them yet, so my squat was like all off. I ended up squatting like a pretty ugly 860 when I knew I probably should have been ready to go 880, but I just couldn't get the wraps right. So I definitely want to spend more time in knee wraps going into this meet, probably at least like 8 weeks or so. So I'm definitely going to start low bar squatting probably mid-January and then get the wraps on like beginning of February. In terms of just general things going on, I know the US Open's kind of like a big competition everybody's looking at right now. I'm definitely doing it. I'm going in the 242s for a lot of reasons. One, I feel like I've just done enough things at 220. This year I broke the world record totals for knee wraps and without knee wraps. So I'm like, what's the point in staying this light? I feel like I'm just kind of keeping myself back when I can do so much more if I get my body weight up. So especially since this last meet, I was only like 235 going into the meet, and I did like an easy cut to 220. But for me being at 235, it's like I'm just leaving too many pounds out there. I should really be walking around like 255 to 260, in which I can hit much bigger numbers. Like a really big goal of mine this year was to do a 900-pound squat, but I missed that probably because my body weight was just too low, and I was going 220s. So going into the US Open, one of my huge goals, especially right now, is to just get my body weight up as high as I can until probably like March, April, or beginning of March. At that point, I'll just kind of figure out where I'm at, and I'll see if I want to cut it all or what I want to do, but it's highly unlikely I'm going 220 again. I just don't see the point. Even though this competition, the winner's being chosen on Wilks, the thing is like Milanichev is coming, and obviously he's just a great lifter. His Wilks at this point is like, it's out of this world. In order for me to beat him, I would probably have to put like over 100 pounds on my total and still weighing at 220. It's like I'm pretty much just asking myself too much. So I'd rather just go up. I'd rather just have fun. I want to put on body weight. I want to see what I can do, especially since I feel like there may not be that much more time left. I want to like waste years chasing the 220 records. So that's kind of my goal right now. I really want to get after a 900 squat. This is a walk down meet, so it's going to be really difficult, but I think I can do it, especially if my body weight's like 255, 260. I'm definitely going to be doing a lot of bench press in this training cycle, so I can finally get my bench press back. It's been a while since I PR'd. I hit 518, 2 meets in a row. Then I started doing low bar, and ever since then my bench has been stuck. After that, I benched like 506 at one comp or 501 at Boss of Bosses. Then at the last meet, I only benched 496, which I was really disappointed about. So going to be putting a lot of energy and effort into getting my bench press back. Hopefully I can do at least 523 at that meet. I'm thinking then on deadlift, like I said, obviously I'm putting a lot of energy and effort into trying to switch to sumo. I definitely think I could do it. I pulled 780, which wasn't incredibly hard, and I did a lot of sets working up to it when I did it. I think once I get the grip right, especially with more body weight, and just training it, focusing on the technique, not much more, I do think my deadlift will probably be like 815 to 830-ish on sumo. So definitely trying to, put a very good meet together come April. I definitely want to go at least 1,000 kilograms on the total. I think I could probably get into the low to mid 2,200 range on my total at that meet, as long as I just allow my body to grow basically and I come in at the proper weight. So that's kind of my goal at the moment. I'm just going to train my ass off, just going to train really fucking hard. I really want to put up a huge total at this meet. I really just want to have like a great year. I feel like this year overall, it was like I just kind of had like a net loss on body weight, which I really wasn't happy about. Because going into January, I was like around 250, whereas at my last competition, I was only 235. So I'm definitely switching that back. I definitely want to get my body weight back up to where it needs to be, just so I can start seeing that potential of what I can really do. It's like I got into the sport because I just love getting stronger. I feel like I've gotten too far away from that with doing the weight cuts and trying to stay at a certain weight. So for this meet, I just want to get as big as I fucking can and just go for it. I just want to squat 900 plus. I want to bench like 520 to 530. And I want to pull somewhere in the low 8s to medium 8s, somewhere in there. So that's the goal. I can definitely get it. I'm working my ass off. I'm putting a ton of time into technique. So I don't know. I'm very excited about this training cycle. I think it's going to go well. I have a good 4 or 5 months of training. I'm starting injury free, which is always great. So I see no reason for things not to go well. I'm just going to keep at it. And that's about it.